Hey guys, I realized that the part one video did not end correctly, so this is going to be part two. It's going to be 5 or 7 minutes to get through this, to finalize this and show you the dates and the patterns that we see from this chapter 20 and 21 out of 1 Samuel. Okay, so where we left off before is that David and Jonathan met in the field on the third day, and Jonathan told David to go in peace. Tell him to go. That sort of seems like at some point the Lord is going to tell the bride to go back to earth and work the tribulation or the time of trial and bring in the harvest. So David leaves where he was, where Jonathan was, and Jonathan goes back into the city. Jesus goes back up into the heavenly city, potentially. David comes to a town called Nob, which is a priestly city, to see the priest who is Ahimelech, and that name means brother of a king. He's the priest, and the priest is trembling, and the priest wants to know, why is David there alone? I mean, David's a pretty important guy, and why is David running around the fields of Judea alone? And David has to sort of tell him a little bit of a white lie. He's got to tell him that Saul sent him on a secret mission, that nobody was supposed to know where David was going. So the first thing David says on this secret mission that the bride's going to go on, you see the connection, that the first thing, this secret mission that David does, that the bride, that the beloved are going to do, is going to go find 5 loaves of bread. So David is asking for 5 loaves of bread, or whatever is here. And that's reminiscent of the 5 wise virgins that Jesus speaks of in the parable in Matthew 25, in the parable of the virgins, where 5 are wise and 5 are foolish. So this just fits the pattern. So Jesus is taken, the beloved, the bride, or the 144,000 are taken the day before the new moon, hidden for 3 days, then comes back on the third day, meets Jesus, Jonathan, on the third day. The arrows are shot out. The children are taken. You can see the pattern here. And then David goes into this city to get the 5 wise virgins, the 5 loaves. And it's just, it is just a pattern. It's a figurative pattern. Okay, so looking at the dates. All right, so the first meeting with Jonathan, Jesus, and David, the bride, or the 144,000, occurs on the day before the new moon. Now, the new moon became new, actually now in our reality, at 9:45 UTC, or 5:45 Eastern Standard Time, Sunday morning. And according to this calendar, the 24th is when we're going to see the crescent, but that's the evening before. Anyway, so the first day would be the 24th, the second day would be the 25th, and the third day would be the 26th. Then the arrows are shot out on the third day. It says right up here, in the morning, this is the third day, Jonathan went out to the field and shot the arrows, and with him a little boy. So could that be the little boy? The children are taken, so the bride's taken on the day before the new moon for training or whatever. The little boy, the children are taken on the 26th when the arrows are shot out. And lo and behold, if we jump to the 5th day of the month, we can go to Ezekiel and see that on the 5th day of the month, the heavens were open and there was visions of God. Hey, so what about these arrows being shot out? Well, we learned from Zechariah 9, another video I've taught about this, how Judah is the bow of the Lord and Ephraim is its arrow. Jesus is the bow in the clouds, and I have made Ephraim its arrow. And these arrows are the sons of Zion. Sons of Zion. I will stir up your sons of Zion. Who's standing on Zion with the Lord? Revelation 14, that's 144,000. So Ephraim is the arrow. They are the sons of Zion. They are the sons of Zion who are the first fruits. We learn from Jeremiah 31 that Ephraim is the firstborn of God, and that the Revelation 14 group are the first fruits from the earth. Isaiah 49 is a servant speaking. Listen to me, O coastlands. This is when the servants come back. 144,000 come back, and they are proclaiming in the world. They are preaching to the world right here. They are being like John the Baptist or Elijah the prophets right here. Listen to me, says the servant, O coastlands. That's distance far away. That's the United States. We got 2 coasts. It could be all over the world. Give attention, you peoples from afar. The Lord has called me from the womb. From the body of my mother, he has named me. He has made me a mouth. He has made my mouth like a sharp sword. In the shadow of his hand, he has hid me. He has made me a polished arrow. Ephraim is the arrow in the hand of the Lord. He's hidden me in a quiver. He's hidden in. We talked about being hidden on the day before the new moon. Okay. What's the servant's job? Is to bring back Jacob, to gather Israel. Right there. To bring back the preserved of Israel, and to be a light to the nations. Jesus said, let your light so shine before others. You all know that. Psalm 18 speaks of when the Lord returns. It says, the Lord, he parted the heavens and came down, thick darkness under his feet. He made darkness his covering, his canopy around him, thick clouds. We know that when he returns, it's going to be a tempest everywhere, fire, brimstone. He sent out his arrows. He scattered them. That's his mighty warriors being sent out. That seems to occur on the third day. And like I said earlier, if we learn from Ezekiel 1, that on the 5th day of the month, the heavens were open. So there's a lot of thoughts here about what days of the month this stuff's going to happen. Okay, so I just wanted to end with part 2 of this. And I want to just take you guys to Psalm 50. This is another picture of the Lord returning. The mighty one, God the Lord, speaks and summons the earth out of the rising of the sun. Out of Zion, the perfection of beauty, God shines forth. Our God comes. He does not keep silent. Before him is a devouring fire, a mighty tempest. He calls to the heavens above and to the earth below, that he may judge his people. First thing God says when he returns, gather to me my faithful ones, the ones who made a covenant to me with a sacrifice. So anybody who speaks of a post-tribulation rapture, anyway, I'm not going to get into it here. But so who are these faithful ones who made a covenant by sacrifice? I appeal to you, brethren, by the mercies of God, to present your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable to God, which is your spiritual worship. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, that by testing you may discern what is the will of God and what is good and acceptable and perfect. So these people who the Lord comes to gather to me. They are the ones that presented himself as a living sacrifice. We also know that in Zephaniah 2, there's this shameless nation. Gather together, yes, gather, O shameless nation, before the decree takes effect, before the day passes like a chaff, before there comes upon you burning anger, before there comes upon you the day of the anger of the Lord. Seek the Lord, all you humble of the land, who do his just commands. And look what happens, it says, perhaps you may be hidden on the day of the anger of the Lord. Okay? There you go. Okay. This decree. That before the decree takes effect. What decree is going to take effect? What decree are we talking about? Well, we learned that there's a decree of destruction. Behold, I will send Elijah the prophet before the great and awesome day of the Lord comes, and he will turn the hearts of the children, turn the fathers of the children, and the hearts of the children to their fathers, lest I come and strike the land with a decree of destruction. So these Elijah the prophets, they are a group of people. It's not just one single prophet, in my thoughts. It's a group. It's a title. Elijah the prophets are going to go out ahead of the Lord. We learn that in Luke 10. There's a group. After this, the Lord appointed 70 pairs. 70, that word too means pairs. And there's also some confusion here in the original text. Some of the original Greek say 72 twos, 72 pairs. This is 144,000. After this, the Lord has appointed 144,000 others and sent them out ahead of him, 2 by 2, into every town and place where he himself is about to go. So that's what John the Baptist did. That's the Elijah the prophets did. That's what they're going to do. So if you look here, it's almost like these guys are sent out here on the 26th, or the third day. The arrows are shot out. And then on the 5th day is when the Lord actually comes. The Psalm 50. So the children are taken here on the 3rd day. The Lord comes on this 5th day. Now I'm just using patterns. It's hard to, no one knows any of this stuff. We're just looking at patterns. So with that, guys, I digressed a little bit more than probably I should have, but with this, take this to the Lord, study this chapter, see the patterns, and sooner or later he's going to show up, and we're going to be out of here. With that, guys, have a good evening, and God bless you.